Yeah, like you said, MLG Shakur's Plateau is going to be the map, and of course, EGiNcontroL is going to be pretty happy with this as a first map, since this is a map that a lot of Protoss players, pick when they lose the first game in a best of three. They generally go to Shakur's Plateau because it is such an easy map to Forge Expand on. It's such a safe map, and there's the chatting coming in. EGiNcontroL saying, "Destiny, your wooden CPU."
Yeah, I definitely know. Oh, someone disabled my middle mouse scroll button. I'm gonna have to fix that real quick, and then we'll introduce our players. But why did you enable mouse? No, it's still enabled. Huh. All right, well, I don't know what's going on there, but we'll figure it out. So, Lillian, why don't you have the pleasure, since you are, of course, the guest caster from EU server, introduce our players here, starting with our player in the bottom left.
Of course, I would like to do that. I would love to do that. Evil Geniuses in Control is going to be the Protoss spawning in the bottom left as the red Protoss, of course. He is going up against QxGDestiny, who is spawning in the top right as the blue Zerg. And yeah, the opening of this matchup, of the Protoss versus Zerg matchup on this map, is pretty much always the same. It's either going to be a Forge Expand or a Nexus first.
Yeah.
So let's see what InControl wants to do. Destiny not pulling off any kind of early cheese. He's just going to be droning up, and it does look like InControl wants to get his Forge down pretty early, so he does want to play it safe. He didn't scout his opponent first, and when you don't scout your opponent first, it becomes a little bit risky to delay your Forge that much. So I understand that decision out of InControl. It's always good to get that Forge up.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how InControl responds. A lot of people would say Shakur's is just a really good map for Protoss in general, just because of the way you can get that Forge Fast Expand, because the way the ramps work, it's really easy to do some kind of warp gate timing based off force fields and force field the ramp, just the proximity of the ramps and the distance between the ramp main to your actual hatchery is a little bit considerable as well. So Zergs do often struggle with that, and look at that. InControl is actually even just being more annoying, blocking Destiny's initial hatchery with a pylon. So very solid, but standard openings from both players here, Lillian.
Yeah, getting that pylon down is very standard. Ooh, this is a bit risky, though, getting that photon cannon up. That's going to be a bit of an investment, delaying his Nexus to do that. But, of course, Destiny is on top of his game. He pulls off more than enough drones to deal with this. Maybe even a bit, a few too many drones. I mean, 6 drones pulled for a single cannon. That is a lot. And InControl will, of course, cancel that photon cannon. And I really think that the 50-ish minerals that he invests in building cannon, that's definitely worth it to force 6 drones off the line for such a long time. What do you think, Froden?
Yeah, it's all about risk versus reward. I mean, at this point, InControl isn't necessarily trying to do damage, but just stall Destiny from able to do what he wants, because realistically, he's just trying to get his economy up, and if you can get your Nexus up much earlier than Zerg, you are going to be ahead if you can focus your Chrono Boosts and just basically get your timings out a lot faster. Now, of course, the only trade-off is InControl does end up losing small things like some minerals here and supply capped, but he's getting everything else up very standard timing. So, it's just basically another tool to just throw it off, because Zerg is a very timing precise race, just because you say, okay, around 6 minutes and a half, I might need to get, a spore call or whatnot, but if you delay it by 15, 20 seconds, everything just becomes misaligned by a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, Froden. It's if you miss that one Overlord timing, it does really screw things up. But that goes for most races. Supply blocks can be horrible to deal with. As Zerg, it's a bit less bad in my opinion, because the larva will still come out. The larva will regenerate. Your inject will keep on rolling, even if you're supply blocked for a little bit. So I guess one could argue that for a Zerg to get supply blocked, if it's just a little while, the larva will still pop out, the inject will still come. So those, in a sense, you're not going to lose as much as a Terran or a Protoss would by being supply blocked, especially Protoss, who doesn't really have any way of easily, getting more supply. Terrans can always use that cooldown supply if they're in a real dire situation. For example, a Cloak Banshee, which is about to get started, but you're supply blocked, and you're like, oh no, I need to start that immediately. It's, of course, a really good idea to use the cooldown supply in that situation.
Absolutely, but we do see Destiny actually going for a fast third hatchery. Now, that's a pretty common response, because when you see a Protoss going for a very aggressive macro build, you say that, well, he actually can't really make too much right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get my third hatchery. But, InControl is actually going for a Stargate right now, Lillian, and he's hiding it right outside his natural. And it's going to be interesting because that Overlord from Destiny is actually in position. In fact, he has 2 Overlords ready to scout it as soon as he sends it in. So Destiny should be sending it around now. This is around the time you want to see at least the gas timings of Protoss, as Destiny's Overlord should be able to get sight of the Stargate.
Yeah, definitely. By the looks of it, Destiny's got 2 Overlords, like you said, slowly moving in position. Back at home for Destiny, he is getting a Roach Warren and an Evolution Chamber. So that Evolution Chamber is, of course, going to help him out. He will be able to start a Spore Crawler at his 3rd and be safe that way. And let's take a look at the vision of Destiny, who now sees the Stargate. He's going to be turning that Overlord around immediately. These 2 Overlords, man, they might actually get sniped. I would like that out of EGiNcontroL, to not go immediately for the 3rd base, but snipe these 2 Overlords. That's going to cause a pretty immense supply block for Destiny.
Well, you know, Lurleen, speaking of the 3rd base, the 2 Zealots here are actually harassing it. And Destiny's only sending a couple of Zerglings here. He actually needs way more than that. And, you know, EGiNcontroL can just kill some drones here, do some nice little pressure, and all he does is just send Zealots. Now, Destiny does make a lot of Zerglings here. He's got about 12 ready to take on these Zealots now. EGiNcontroL, again, he's lining up his pylons to warp on the high ground. Another common little tactic that Protoss does. Hits the Zerg base from the high ground, because you can position stalkers actually up here and to hit the drone mineral lines. So EGiNcontroL definitely pulling out some sneaky tactics. His Stargate is still chrono boosting out Void Rays, and Destiny finds the hidden pylons here because, again, this is pretty standard play from Protoss, and he's going to try to shut down production early in, but looks like EGiNcontroL is still going to be really aggressive here, planning another proxy pylon.
Yeah, he definitely wants to commit to this, and it looks like the engagement is going to have to wait a little bit. Ooh, those 2 Zealots, man, they came down from the high ground, and they're going to get themselves surrounded. Roach is now joining up with the rest of the army. And EGiNcontroL, man, I'm not too sure if this is going to work out. Where's that second Void Ray? He needs that second Void Ray so badly. The second Void Ray is about halfway across the map, and there is significant damage being done, of course. Not too many... well, actually, there's not that much critical damage done just yet. EGiNcontroL cannot really seem to mess up any kind of scary amount of Zealots, which is what you really want. Like 8 to 12 Zealots with 2 Void Rays. That is going to be so tough for any Zerg player to deal with. But EGiNcontrol's constantly losing his Zealots, so he cannot really mess up any critical amount.
Yep, so, you know, he's still warping in, though, really close to Destiny's 3rd. He's actually going to send his Void Rays close to the natural here. He might try to do some harassment. Now, you know, Destiny focused a lot of spores actually at the 3rd, but not at the natural. They're actually still in the middle of production, and it looks like Destiny will have to cancel 1. Will he have to cancel the 2nd here as he does approach completion? And it looks like 2 Queens do end up coming down the ramp. Destiny frantically trying to defend his expansion, and it looks like he does push it back for just a moment. Notice we do see a Zergling trying to go for a counterattack here, but Destiny actually catches it. So both players trying to scout out what the opponent has, but we do see that Destiny, for the meantime, has held off the Void Rays as EGiNcontroL is expanding to the top left.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the units tab, and that actually surprised me a big deal, Frodo. We've got 63 probes for EGiNcontroL and 57 drones for Destiny. So Destiny's been making a lot of roaches and lings. He's got 14 lings and 14 roaches now out on the field. And these roaches and lings are going to be, well, pretty useless. I hate to put it in such a bold way, but they are not going to be very useful. As you can see, that 3rd base is really, really safe from any kind of attack, really. If you warp in a single sentry, you'll be able to hold that ramp all day long. And of course, at his natural, we've got EGiNcontroL with a lot of sentries, cannon, and a wall off setup as well. So Destiny is going to have a pretty hard time to find an angle for his roaches and lings that he just made to do any damage. Where are they even at? Where are them roaches at? Oh, there they are.
They are, you know, they're scattered everywhere. They have some of the 3rd, some of the natural, and EGiNcontroL. Still not done harassing here. The whole idea was to, you know, expand, and as he can put pressure with these Void Rays. And, you know, it was actually really lucky because he actually managed to just get his probes before Destiny caught them on the transfer. And now that these 4 Void Rays are out, Destiny still is just going to be contained. He doesn't have Overlords all over the map just because these Voiders are denying vision. And I like that EGiNcontroL, he's usually, in the past, I've seen him so many times lose control of his Voiders, but this time making sure not to really lose any. Hopefully he can continue good control here. And right now he's just constantly just droning up. He's still going up in drones. He's transitioning to High Templar here, getting blinks. So very strong mid-game composition coming out here from EGiNcontroL.
Yep, there is, and he's already got the Stargate, but unfortunately for EGiNcontroL, he doesn't have any Phoenix, and with 11 Mutalisks, or 13 Mutalisks on the way, rather, that could be scary. No scouting has been done by EGiNcontroL. He doesn't even know there's a lair out on the field just yet, so he's going to be caught completely off guard, and Mutas are actually really good versus Void Rays when the Void Rays are in low numbers and not charged up. That is something I learned the hard way when I was back in Bronze League. Back in Bronze League, making nothing but Void Rays all day long, and then my opponent made Mutas and I died.
Ooh. But speaking of Mutas killing Void Rays, EGiNcontroL does end up seeing the massive amount of Mutas. Now, he's going to start putting cannons everywhere. His third's already pretty fortified. He's actually even warping High Templar in. So he's got a lot going on his third. So his third should actually be really nice and defended. But EGiNcontrol's, doing a good job. He's chrono boosting out his gates and Storm. Great, allocation of resources right now. He also has +2 finished, and he's also getting Blink. Mutas do arrive to the third, trying to harass here, but he's actually taking a lot of heavy damage as EGiNcontroL warping against some Stalkers. Destiny's sticking around a little bit longer than I'd like, but,
for sure.
He got some pretty good information, though. He actually saw the probe saturation at the third, and he's actually going to send all of his roaches here early. And what do you think about this roach push?
Well, it could work out. There's no sentry there, but 3 cannons, well, they do have a lot of DPS. And here we go. Destiny's going to go up the ramp. The Mutas join up, and this third base is in some serious trouble. Where's the rest of the army? The rest of the army was actually in the main base. I'm not too sure what that army was doing there, but now we've got Destiny streaming into the third base of EGiNcontroL. And of course, Destiny will be trapped with all his roaches over here, Froden. But he might be able to take out that third base, or maybe not, man. EGiNcontrol's getting in a pretty good defensive position here, with 4 cannons in the back. Those Mutas, man. Ooh, so many Mutas are dying right now to the cannons and roaches as well, as the rest of the army joins up for EGiNcontrol, and he should be able to clean this up, losing a few probes here and there. But not too many, actually. Only 6 workers killed in this entire game by Destiny. Wow, that's a really low number in any Mutalisk game.
Yeah, especially particular for Destiny, who loves high harassment. Oh man, he's flying his Mutas directly over a patch of Stalkers, and EGiNcontroL gets a good blink. And all of a sudden, this is the point in time where Zerg should be jumping ahead in supply, be really comfortable and able to take advantage. But EGiNcontroL able to really mitigate a lot of damage here. And you're saying that he was, why it was his army in the main base. It was because he wanted to be really defensive about all kind of Muta harass. He had Stalkers in the main, Sentries and Archons at the natural and High Templar. So he is really trying to cover all of his bases, mind the pun. And he is, of course, trying to still transfer probes here and just mass up a huge army. I mean, when he gets Storm, when he gets +3, you could expect an unbelievably strong timing. And I don't know if Destiny can stop, because right now he's still massing Mutas, but he's losing some when he needs to preserve them.
Yeah, he's trying to find spots to do harassment, but Destiny should realize right now that EGiNcontroL has invested so incredibly much in defending the Muta play. I think Destiny should start thinking of alternatives. He's not been able to deny bases. He's not been able to deny any kind of economy, really. Wow, he does have a lot of Mutas over here, though. How many Mutas is Destiny at right now? 28. This is actually something that a lot of people predicted in the Team Liquid thread, that Destiny would be going for Muta pretty much every game because he likes the playstyle so much. But it seems like EGiNcontroL has been practicing a lot, man, in his Muta defense. He's doing a wonderful job defending against these Mutalisks so far. Maybe investing a bit too much in cannons.
Well,
since we've got,
I don't even know, though, because he's going to be on the counter aggression here, and it looks like he's going to just go for a bunch of Stalkers here at this point. He does have Storm to also push back some of the units. Would like to see him utilize some Archons, but I guess he's saving his High Templar energy for Storm, and this is actually a pretty large force, and +3 is about to finish. This is actually a super strong time here. Destiny canceled all his spines, and his drones are actually sitting idly, whistling away, and it looks like EGiNcontroL is going to be able to get up here into the natural. This is the point at which Protoss forces himself into the natural, and it is very hard for Zerg to do anything. Destiny is making a lot of spines somewhere. It looks like he's making it around his third, but that hatchery drops extremely quickly here, Lillian.
Yeah, that hatch is gone. The third base has pretty much been denied for EGiNcontroL, but he has a new third base with a Templar, with enough energy for Storm. Oh my god, that Storm could be huge. Storm, 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 Storm. Oh my god, Froden, that Storm. Did you see that?
Oh man, I was trying to catch all the action. I'm seeing the Stalkers pushing the main. I did catch the second half of that Storm, though, and Destiny has a lot of Mutas in the yellow. But the most important thing, though, is Destiny is losing all of his tech structures. He can't actually remake a significant amount of units. He's actually making another Spire, despite the fact that he has one at his third. He's trying to make it defensively. The Mutas do shut down the fourth base, and EGiNcontroL did lose a lot of workers at the third, but I don't know. Destiny doesn't have a lot of units to actually confront this Stalker, Sentry, High Templar ball. I mean, he's going to lose. He can't even remake a lot of his important units right now. And Destiny, he's pulling back and trying to do something, trying to harass the main, but how much good is this actually going to do, Lurlian?
I don't know. At this point, we're going to see a 2-base Zerg without any tech, like you said. Oh, he's got the Spire. He's got the spawning pool. That was a good move, actually. Wow, he's actually got a Spire, like you pointed out. He's getting a lot of Spires, afraid of his Spire to get picked off. And EGiNcontroL looks like he wants to push in there. This is a mistake. This is not something that EGiNcontroL should do. Oh, but in the meantime, the Mutas are in the natural of EGiNcontroL, trying to get some kills here as well. And oh my god, EGiNcontroL is actually going to try to push up here. This could end really badly. Mutas coming in, drones also coming in.
Ooh, so Storms do push off the Mutas. Another Storm also pushes off the Mutas, and he is basically saying, don't come near me, although EGiNcontroL needs to get a better surface area here. The Spine is holding valiantly, and looks like the flank does come from behind. EGiNcontroL does Storm to make sure to meet the Mutas head-on, and here comes the engagement. EGiNcontroL does blink backwards and manage to take out a huge force, but in the end, it looks like EGiNcontroL did manage to keep still a huge amount of Stalkers. Now, keep in mind that EGiNcontroL does have defenses back at home, and he, for the most part, still has all of his warp gates. He doesn't have his Templar Archive, so he can't warp in Templar for Storm, so he does have that disadvantage. But Destiny holding valiantly, and there's the blink onto the main ground here, into the bottom right corner, and Destiny all of a sudden is completely vulnerable just because those Blink Stalkers can avoid the Spine Crawlers. EGiNcontroL is still doing lots of damage, and Destiny pulling his drones here in a last-ditch effort, but with good Blink Micro, EGiNcontroL should be able to eliminate the rest of his units and take game number 1 here.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to see. Good call of Frodan. Those 3-3 Stalkers, man, they're ripping apart the only +1 Mutalisk. That is actually really, really significant. 3-3 Blink Stalkers going up to only 1-0 upgraded Mutalisks. That was definitely what changed that game around. I was surprised that EGiNcontroL did so well at that when he was pushing into the third base with all the Mutas and all the Spinecrawlers there. I was really surprised he was able to break that, but that was because of the 3-3 upgrades on his Blink Stalkers and his Sentries. So a really good job there by EGiNcontroL keeping up with his upgrades, and I think that was really what gave him the edge, the upgrades in that game.